We are live. Alan, thank you for, who counted us in just now? Was that Alan?
Yep.
Alan, thank you for counting us in. You're at the Three Martini Lunch, a national virtual networking event. For those who you know of Alan, who's worked with Alan before? Well, Alan works with us at Rockstar Connect. He runs all the social media. He runs our 250 Facebook groups, and he oversees, our team. And he's also acting as producer for this networking event today, Three Martini Lunch. So we thank him. Also with us is Sarah Clark-Elliott, co-founder of Rockstar Connect. I am also married to her as well. Just coincidental that I'm married to her. It has nothing to do with us having a company with one another. Small world is all I can say. So, guys, we're going to do something a little different this week. We're going to start with the second hour question in the first hour, and then we're going to discuss success in the second hour, just to keep you on your toes. But before we get started, I just, I'm a large consumer of social media, specifically Facebook. Do any of you guys go on Facebook? Any of the panelists? Jack, you really need to open an account there. It's a new thing, Facebook. You should try it. You should absolutely try it out. But it's just sort of crazy. I mean, we do have a new administration. We've had an inauguration, and now we're all rooting for the new administration to be successful, help us get out of this pandemic in a good way. I know some of you have heard that there are vaccines out now. Anyone here have a vaccine yet? Jenny does. Okay, so you can officially hang out with Jenny. The rest of us
still distanced, wearing masks.
Yeah, the rest of us are prior. Are you double masking?
I have a mask that has multiple layers and a filter, so I don't double mask, but that is the recommendation because they don't know the extent of the variant. So double masking is not a bad idea. It's...
So you put one over your eyes and one over your mouth?
Sure. You just walk around like And
then the anal, and of course the anal swab.
Well, I didn't know we were doing that kind of show today, Stephen. Was unprepared.
Yeah, this is the early show.
Just painting a picture of, someone out there in the public, walking down the side of the street with a mask on their mouth and a mask on their face with, an anal swab sticking out. That's the new normal.
Use the nose ones.
Right. Sarah says,
Sarah tried to reel you back in.
She says, do not confuse the two. We were eating lunch out today, and I was going, we took off our masks. What they really need to have in these restaurants is a place you can hang your mask up, right? Because you're putting it right on the table. You're putting it right back on your face. So any germs you may have, you're putting it on the table. Any germs on the table, you're picking back up, or chemicals that they put on the table. Because we know those smelly Cloroxy dirty rags are great at cleaning stuff up. You ever go in a restaurant, you smell those rags that they've used like 100 times as sanitizer? It's Sarah's absolute pet peeve. She can't stand that sanitizer. Probably keep her out of the restaurant business because of that. So back to Facebook. I've made some posts recently. That one of the things that I would like the new administration to pay attention to is, of course, people that have jobs, that have lost their jobs, that need assistance, but also to help small businesses get back on their feet because they're job creators. And everyone here on the panel would probably agree with that. No? Okay, well, maybe. But it's important because a lot of small businesses have lost a lot of revenue during this. They've let employees go, or some have kept their employees and had even less revenue. So I posted about it on Facebook, and it's amazing how some people have so little empathy if they're not in that situation. Like if they get a paycheck and they aren't an entrepreneur and they don't have a job, they just don't get it. That, some people said, It's a great American economic reset, and we're going to be reshuffled, and we're going to be doing green jobs. So I can just imagine Dr. Holly 300 feet up in the air working on a turbine. You're a wind turbine. I imagine your degree is in electrical, is in wind engineering, possibly.
No, it wouldn't happen.
I mean, Katie's the closest to it because she climbed that really tall tower at the port.
The crane.
The crane. Could you do that every day?
It wasn't as scary. I don't have a fear of heights. I have a fear of almost everything else, but heights, looking down, I didn't choose to do it, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't windy though that day either. He said when it's windy, the whole thing sways while you're up there. That might be a little.
No, like today, it's very windy. I can see Ray out there, making solar panels and installing them. No, not for you.
Not for me. Yeah.
I certainly can't see her. Those pipeline workers going from $150 to an hour, learning a completely new trade to install solar panels for $40 an hour. Just they're not going to be too happy with that. And those are guys
start their own business.
Those are guys who don't want to be too angry. Yeah, they should start their own business. I'll just start. I have the mineral rights to my house. I'm going to start fracking in the backyard. See what my neighbor says about that.
That could be problematic. I bet your deed doesn't give you the mineral rights to your property.
Well, you haven't lost them. That's what we do here. When you sign and you buy a property here in North Carolina, we have a form called mineral oil and gas, and you have to swear that you have not severed the rights to the minerals below you, because there were some builders that when you bought houses from them, they kept the mineral rights.
That's true in California.
And in California, someone can go put an oil, derrick on your property, not too uncommon, and start
or next to it, and then drill sideways.
Yeah. So it says Clint's name under Gene's name. Why is that? What? Oh, you sent him Clint's link. That is not. He
lost the link.
Although they both have the same haircut.
This is a case of stolen identity.
You've got an evil doppelganger, Clint. You can tell because he's got the goatee.
Regardless of what's going on out in the greater world, we have a much smaller world now. I mean, we do have some casual acquaintances that we have met through Zoom and virtual networking, probably not nearly as much as we have met physical networking, and maybe not as meaningful. We don't have, some places that you are going to the gym. Who's going to the gym? Yeah, so you're still meeting those people at the gym, the guy that hands you the towel. Ostensibly, he's your friend. He may be gone 3 weeks from now and you won't remember his name, but at that moment, he's your friend. If you go to Starbucks, who's going to coffee shops? See, Katie has the richest outdoor life of all of us. So the barista that you see every single day that you interact with, that's part of your network, part of your circle, part of what makes you feel good to see those people. And it makes you feel good to give them a tip and make sure, that it's nice to see that they don't have COVID and that they still have a job, or the restaurant that you go to that is still open. Yes, Dominic?
I was just going to say, Stephen, Katie lives in Charleston, South Carolina, and South Carolina is wide open, right? This is a different scenario.
Charleston is wide open, except I'm not going to those jam-packed, crowded bars. I go to a lot of happy hours, dinners with friends, but I keep it into smaller groups, or just one person. So I'm doing things, but I cannot stop my life, but I'm doing it safely. But yeah, I'm not going to spin classes where you're all in a jam-packed small room. I'm just trying to do what I feel comfortable with and safely while I'm still living my life, Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to still wear a mask. Tables at restaurants, you can only have, I think, 6 people. Maybe it's 8, but I think it's 6. You have to wear a mask when you get up from your table, that kind of thing. And some bars have chosen to stay at 25% capacity, or restaurants, but Others are back to 100%. But I don't ever feel unsafe in those. But if I did, I wouldn't be there.
Right. Well, that's good. You can't eliminate all the things that make you feel good, or you're going to feel bad. Got to still feel good. We went over to Dominic's house this weekend, and he made a phenomenal meal. For those of you that don't know, Domenic is a professional chef as well as a financial advisor, and that was very nice. And that's been a theme for the last few weeks on 3 Martini Lunch. You need to do the things that make you feel good, celebrate life. We have at least 1 bottle of champagne every weekend to celebrate life. And believe me, once you get near the bottle of that champagne, life looks really good at the end of that bottle. Champagne is just one of those great things. So here's the question for this week. And you can give yourself a quick 30-second pitch at the beginning of this question, just so we know who you are, especially if you haven't been here for a while. But we're going to start off with this question. What are the day-to-day things that you do that really make you feel good? Do you find them doing them as often as you'd like to? If no, why not? And why don't we start off with Gene, because we haven't seen Gene in a few weeks, put him under pressure. You've had enough experience on these things, I think you can come up with an answer. But Gene, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself too?
So Gene Volpe from GVI Media. I run a marketing company up here just outside of Philly. And you always come at me with good questions. I'm usually not one that has to tap dance. I can usually justify just about everything. But all the questions you always ask me and put me on the spot, they're always really good ones. Thought-provoking. I do have to comment that I'm liking this facial hair, though.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? Sarah made a special request that since we were not doing 3 Martini Lunch for 2 weeks, she wanted me to see what a beard would look like on, because I haven't had one in 30 years. Haven't had one since almost before she was born. So, but it's working out.
It's looking good on you. I like it. I'll tell you a quick story. When I first grew mine, I said to my wife, I've been getting these comments like people are asking me if I'm losing weight. And she said, yeah, that's because you got those 3 chins all covered up now. They can't tell.
Well, I've been experiencing that too. You've been saying I've lost weight, yet my clothes feel tighter. So I knew there was something wrong with it. But, growing up in Miami, down in Key West, they had a Ernest Hemingway contest. And my beard is sort of leaning that way. Maybe I need to go down and participate in that event.
So did you notice real quick how I filibustered there to get some ideas for your question?
It's excellent. So guys, pay
good,
attention. Right? This is a pro. He bought himself some breathing room.
Right.
See, I remember with Ray, I used to catch Ray on a question. He'd be like, but now he knows how to do the same thing. He does the same thing because he's been doing a lot of coaching and a lot of video. He knows how to work it.
You know what they say, fool me once, right?
Yeah, that's the best thing about, speaking and going on podcasts and everything else. If people are asking you questions, you really can't lose. Right. You always have something to talk about. But go ahead. Your question, I'll repeat it for you again.
Okay.
What are the day-to-day things you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if no, why not?
So I guess I'll start with some of the obvious. One is the gym. So I was challenged at the beginning of the year by one of my coaches at the gym to do a 1,000,000-meter row. And so what that is you have to row 1,000,000 meters in the year, right? So you get 50 weeks, you get 2 weeks off. It's about 20,000 meters a week. It's proving to be a lot more difficult than I thought. I'm right now about 14,000 meters behind where I need to be. So I got some work to make up, but I really do enjoy getting out there. I'll occasionally meet somebody else and we'll row together. Other times I'll throw in my headphones and just kind of lose myself for an hour. So that's one thing. And am I doing that enough? Of course not, right? You can never do that enough, especially right now. We're snowed in, so I haven't done anything since Saturday. The other thing that I think I'm enjoying right now is my wife and I are looking at moving some of our assets around over the next 2 years. And one of the things that I've taken up is we're probably going to roll some whole life insurance money into a vacation property. So right now we're taking the time to look at it. So we're weighing a lot of things. Like, can we get there via car? How often will we be able to make it? Are we going to have to Airbnb it? Like, there's a lot of things. So right now we're talking about 4 or 5 different areas that are close by that we're going to check out and watch property values. And while we're doing that, she's like, I think we need to take a couple weekend vacations to see what the areas are really like. You know,
she's a smart woman.
She is smart. Well, she married me, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke, folks. I know that you guys don't know me really well, but I'm teasing. I married up. But yeah, so we're looking at vacation homes and having the kids looking over your shoulder and sending you things they see online that they like. My oldest is 15, and everything she sends me seems to be 8.4 million and up. I don't know what that's all about, but those 2 things are keeping me going.
That's excellent. And as soon as you said moving assets, you saw Domenic was like scratching his palm. Was it getting a little itchy there?
Well, not only did he mention that, he mentioned the words whole and life, and that always gets my attention. So love having conversations about that.
I bet. Yeah, I think it's great. We're in this market, we're selling a lot of vacation homes, and what is a vacation home is changing somewhat too. Doesn't have to have a beach necessarily, doesn't necessarily have to have a lake, doesn't have to have a mountain. It just needs to be an hour outside of town, have a fallout shelter, a bomb shelter, be stocked with silver, firearms.
What kind of vacations are you taking, Stephen?
No, it's the type of vacation my clients are taking. It's called, vacation from the apocalypse.
It's disaster preppers.
They're hedging their bets. They're prepping. They're buying sides of beef and.
Yeah, speaking of hedging,
I could stand to have a side of beef in the house. That would just be, come on, Domenic. Wouldn't it be great to have a side of beef in the freezer?
Hey, look, I got 2 sides of beef and a couple of hams right now.
In your freezer right now?
No, on my gut.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. So Domenic has this great thing. I think it is perfect. Perfect for COVID right now, since people are, going into their bubble friends and having a drink or two, and it's not like at a bar where they're going to cut you off. But he has like a little breathalyzer that he purchased, and we all used it. And I said, well, I think I'm 0.0. So I blew 0.0. I think Sarah blew 0.08. Domenic blew like 0.10. And Heather was like 5 point.
Well, she's tiny, so a little bit goes a long way on the blood alcohol content.
But it sounds like a really good investment. It's a lot of fun because his breathalyzer tells you how drunk you are. Like, oh, you've lost your memory. You don't have the ability to speak. You shouldn't drive. So it's almost like a video game.
Look, it's a safety thing though too, right? Look, everybody out there has had the experience where we don't know, and people tell you can only have this many drinks, and you kind of you forget, and things happen, and you're not making the best decisions. So that's just a little thing to remind you, like, hey, like, don't get in the car, don't make a bad decision, like, be sure, right? And if it's not, or if you're close, get an Uber. Right, but this will tell you for sure, hey, you're definitely over that line.
And also, from what I understand, alcohol kills COVID. Is that true?
Well, I guess if you inject it right next to the bleach.
Possibly.
I was going to say, it doesn't seem like people sharing a breathalyzer would be COVID friendly. I'm just saying.
Oh, they have little things like everyone.
Yeah, but even okay.
Yeah, their own separate little.
I just won't be drinking in the bubble if I'm going to get breathalyzed. I just won't. It freaks me out too much.
But you have the shots.
Vaccine. She's vaccinated.
Yeah, but they're still, they don't know with the variants. My parents have gotten vaccinated. They got their first dose. My in-laws are getting their first dose next week. And so we're hoping that we'll be able to go visit in March, maybe, possibly April. So I am taking 0 risks.
So I wonder how many people have been using COVID for an excuse not to visit their in-laws. I mean, really, the difference between in-laws and outlaws?
Outlaws are wanted.
Sarah, I want to ask you, outlaws are wanted. Hey, so Domenic, let's ask you the question.
Yeah.
What are the day-to-day things that you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? If not, why not? I think you're like living life to the fullest, frankly.
I am. And then there's a lot of things that I really enjoy doing. So I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy the occasional beverage, which I have easy access to with the speakeasy that we built. I've got a home gym, so I work out every day. I love to play disc golf, which has become one of the most popular things to do during COVID because it's outside and it's spread out. And I've never seen the courses in this area so crowded in my life since COVID started. So but I've also kind of guilty of being one of those people that, hey, this is the only thing that we can really do. We can't go see a movie, can't really go out to eat as regularly as we would have normally done. So let's do this. I get lots of great opportunities to do things that really I feel like they're me time. And the cooking. And that's, as you mentioned, I was, I'm a professional chef, and prior to starting my business over at New York Life, did it for 20 years. And the best part about not doing it as a job anymore is when I practice my craft, I get to do it for my friends and my family, and really get to see them enjoy it and enjoy it with them and just have a good time.
I think what helps you too is, your significant other is on the same page you are.
Oh, she's a badass. I love her. If you guys don't know Heather, and I know many of you have met Heather, those of you who haven't really should, because she's super cool, smart, great cook as well, and she builds stuff. She's an engineer and that's what she does in her trade, but her hobby is also to build stuff. But she builds furniture and bars and designs the stuff. And we even had a little business idea that we were discussing with Steven this weekend. I'm going to keep it hush hush for now, but if you see us out there on HGTV at some point, you'll know that this idea went into effect.
Well, that's good. We're going to keep. I know I won't spill it. I'm under an NDA. So, Clint, forget asking about it. You're not going to find anything else about it. And so, Clint, what are the day-to-day things you do that really make you feel good? You find them doing as often as you'd like to? If no, why not?
So that's a very easy question for me. So first thing I do when I wake up is journal and have a cup of coffee. And then I go for a run. And so those are the things that work well for me, that I enjoy doing. And then recently, it's been working on this podcast that Dom and I have. And so with Gene's help, he's been a godsend for sure. And we actually dropped our first episode today. And it'll be on Amazon and Spotify soon, I guess within 24 hours, but it's on Amazon Music now and it's free. It's just taken a while to get the permission from Spotify and Apple. I guess they think very, very highly of themselves. So it's very exciting. Dom and I, we were there for what seemed like a long time last night, but it was 5 hours we spent there last night. Had some great interviews, so we have some good stuff coming up. So it's called the Joe Schmo Sports Show. And it is it's a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of guests, both current and former athletes, and we're going to be doing things from a different perspective, like having the business side of things shown through podcast. It's going to be exciting. We have some crazy guests lined up.
That's fantastic. And of course, you like to exercise, golf.
Yep. Oh yeah, golf. It's just like recently, golf has been very, very, very hard to do because we have had the wettest January that we've ever had, and it's also I don't know if anybody stepped outside here in North Carolina today, but it's pretty windy and chilly. So I'm not about that life, man. It
is pretty rough. So those of you that have kids at home, COVID has been an excellent time to teach them, life skills. And one of the things that really make Sarah and I feel good is having a cup of coffee when we want to have a cup of coffee. We have taught our 10-year-old how to make a pot of coffee. So she just brought us each a cup during the show. This is a real opportunity to teach the things they really need. They don't need to learn how to read or do mathematics. I mean, the computer will do that for you. Just press a button, it reads everything for you, does the math. But your computer doesn't brew a good cup of coffee. Nor can it chop vegetables. So another skill you should teach your kids.
You do have to teach your kids culinary math if you're going to teach them how to cook, Stephen.
Well, I guess I'll teach them as soon as I learn it.
Good luck.
I'm happy to teach them in that. And so, Katie, no kids at home, but you do have a roommate. How's her coffee?
How does our roommate like her coffee?
You don't like her coffee?
No. Are you asking how she likes her coffee?
No. Does she make a good cup of coffee for you?
No, we make our own coffees.
You each have your own pot.
No, I mean, we have a Keurig, but
Okay.
I mean, we make our own food, make our own coffees, that kind of, I mean, we don't do that. We don't share that stuff.
Well, Keurig is very deluxe, so they're great to have.
Yeah.
They have one now that and one of my friends won one from the Miami Dolphins.
Oh.
Season ticket holder, one that makes cocktails for you.
Nice.
It's a Keurig that makes cocktails. And that's got to be the height of decadence and the ultimate gift to oneself during a shutdown. So, Katie, what are the day-to-day things that you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if no, why not?
I think I live a pretty balanced work-life balance. I do work a lot, often, till 12, 1 in the morning. But I also will go have happy hour and go to lunch with someone. So I do break it up. I like to go on power walks, and I do that probably 4 or 5 days a week. I started listening to more podcasts during that time, which is what I really like. I love my TV shows, so I make time to watch a show every night. I would like to start journaling, to journal prompts. I just need to wake up 15 minutes earlier, and that has been my main issue, is getting up early enough to do that. So I have not started that. But I'm a really social person. Keeping me inside is absolute torture for me. So, just going, there was it was 15 nights, 2 nights I stayed home. And then I was like, oh my God, I need to stay home. I'm done. I need to not go out. So, this week, every single night this week and every single night next week, I already have plans, going on a date or going to meet someone for dinner or going to a birthday, but it's all one person, just me, one person, me and 2 people. So I'm keeping it small. So I can but I have to continue on with my life. I can't just stay home.
What about this new career of yours, the modeling? Wedding modeling.
If anyone follows me, he's sort of joking. I was asked by a friend who runs a bridal shop. If you followed me on social media, in my personal story, I posted a bunch of wedding gowns that I got to model, which were really, really fun. And it was a huge major photographer guy, Virgil, that celebrities hire him. He's $16,000 and upwards to hire him for your wedding. He's a big time guy. And so I feel really honored that I got to get photographed by him, because I'll probably never have photos like this in my life. So I can't wait for those to come back. But that was really, really fun.
It looked like a blast. The photos of it being done.
Yeah, I did get, at one point, I was like, I'm so lightheaded. I need to eat. I need a bite. Just someone put a piece of food in my mouth. I might pass out. And they're like, oh my God, we're so sorry. You need to take.
Hey, Katie, did you get to eat when you had to put down the pregnant belly? Take those pictures.
Oh my God, that was the other hilarious thing. Is there was a maternity photo shoot involved in that, and there was a strap-on stomach I had to put on. We had some good laughs with that. I was not allowed to eat in the dresses. I had to put on the robe to eat. But it was fun. It was exhausting. It was a lot. My feet were absolutely killing me, but it was fun.
Well, I have to give you the compliment that I have a lot of friends on social media that are influencers with a big audience. You have really the slickest stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's definitely, you want to watch it, and it's funny.
Thanks.
It's humorous. So I'm sure
I try to showcase my personality, because I mean, that's how people get to know you, like you, trust you, is they get to know you. And most of our donations and exposure come from my personal accounts. And so my board, actually, we had a 6-hour strategic board meeting this past Sunday with our new board members. And the one thing they were saying is, they're like, we need to get you above 10,000 followers, like personally, so I can have, you get access to so many more things. And we're going to try and build Going Places social media and my social media, specifically Instagram. So we're going to start like partner with like local businesses to do giveaways, like Going Places page, like Katie's page, and enter to win, all these kind of things. But it's, I'm starting to get more into reels. I just posted like a reel today using like a video editor app, and just trying to do a lot more cool stuff. But thanks.
That's great. We've been working on videos. Alan has been making videos for us, and he's been making videos about Raleigh, North Carolina, specifically to help my real estate business, not necessarily Rockstar Connect. Alan has never been to Raleigh, North Carolina. Alan, I don't think you've been to the U.S., have you? You can unmic yourself.
Never.
Never been to the U.S., but you're
never been out of the country.
An expert in Raleigh, aren't you?
Not really. I just find everything in the web.
Everything's out there on the interwebs.
Exactly.
Interwebs. Yeah, we'll show you, tell you where you can see some of those videos on I think they're on Stephen David Elliott YouTube channel. But he's going to be doing 5 videos a day for me, so I can build up that channel very quickly, and I really appreciate him for doing that.
Yeah, video is like the new big thing, and especially for realtors. But video is where it is all at. And Reels, Instagram is really promoting for free, like pushing people's Reels, because they're trying to build that and compete with TikTok. And so if you do a Reel on Instagram, if the minute you click that, like, magnified, like the search button, like you have really good odds of the public seeing your reel and looking at it and following you. So I highly suggest getting into that.
Jenny, are you familiar with the reels? Is that something you use?
Yes.
Is this the next GameStop stock that we need to buy?
No.
It's part of Instagram, but
it's part of Instagram. They launched it in August to compete with TikTok, and it's their. I mean, it's fun. It's totally fun. But it's the same with TikTok. You need to have a purpose to your content, right? Like you can't just randomly create stuff and hope that it catches. I've seen a lot of couples and partner reels and things like that really get a lot of traction. So people who are using it to like talk about life during COVID, or even if it can just be like friends, but combining more than one person has seemed to be the trend that is catching most on.
One of my Facebook friends, he does like 2 or 3 of them every day, and it's mostly women in bikinis or wearing regular clothing and turning into bikinis. Well,
I just downloaded an app called Beat Leap. Jenny, have you heard of that? There's also one called Video Leap. You actually make the whole thing in there. So you can, like, certain parts of the video can be sped up, and you can do like a shake of the camera, and it does all these cool effects to it with music. I just uploaded one today. I did it in like 2 minutes, and it's just of like showcasing our bike reveals, but you put music over it, and it looks professionally made. It's really neat. And it's, but you can do them where you're talking in it, and you can speed up certain parts and slow down. And there are so many apps out there that you actually make the video in that, and then you just upload it to the reel or TikTok.
Wow. Could you drop the name of that into
it's like $35 for the whole year. I'm still going to experiment with some other ones, but I like this one so far.
Give us in your authorization links to sign in.
Yeah.
Use your account. I guess not. Okay, so Jenny, what are the day-to-day things you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if no, why not?
I feel like this has a two-part answer, that there's like pre-COVID and now. Because a lot of the stuff that I did pre-COVID, because I'm like Katie, I like to be out. I like to be away. Like, I'm very much an extrovert. I was always meeting, friends and my husband's totally a homebody. So we balance each other very, very well. We do, like, I would go out to networking events or go meet my girls for dinner, or like go and do things and be active, or even like take the kids out and do things. And everything's different now. So my shift has been that I still like that connection is very, very important to me. So I very much enjoy like making sure that I have at least one kind of meeting on my calendar every day. So whether it's a networking one-to-one, or scheduling a client, or having some kind of other connection, that's super important to me. And then the other side of it is like, I like to read, and I make time, like whether it's a magazine or even if it's like an audiobook, I count that as reading. Because I'll put an audiobook or a podcast on while I'm cleaning or whatever. And so I make sure that I carve out, even if it's like one of the things that I did with COVID was I got magazine subscriptions. So, which I hadn't done because I didn't have time to read, right? So now I get Entrepreneur Magazine, I get Food, TV, Good Housekeeping, and Real Simple. And so I make time, it only takes like 30 minutes to read the magazine cover to cover, but
But you still have small children at home.
I unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. How do you make you time or me time, or
I just ignore them, Stephen. I just ignore them.
How can you?
No, I mean, it's, my kids will be active. Right. I close myself in the bathroom or my closet and I hide. No, I mean, it's, they're like my son will be playing video games with his friends after school. My daughter will need some decompression time after school. I get home from my office and I just kind of take 20 minutes. I'm actually very gifted in I can tune everything out. Thank you, ADD. I can get really super hyper focused, and then I just so when I say I ignore them, I'm being serious. Because it's just like I just make that time. So whether it's in bed at night or before sleep, or I'll grab a book with me.
Now, the rule in our house has always been, if you're not an adult and you're a kid, you have to be upstairs at 7:30. We don't care what you do upstairs at 7:30, but you got to be upstairs at 7:30, and let us know if you're coming down.
Huh.
Once they're up there, they tend to stay up there. And because of it, they tend to go to sleep pretty early too, because once you're in bed, the next natural step is to go to sleep.
All right. Well, we have a one-level house, so that wouldn't work for us, but I like the concept.
Well, I mean, there is probably roof access somewhere.
Nicholas did get stuck up on the roof last year. That was kind of funny. He didn't enjoy it, but
no, it's pretty scary. So, Jack, are you gone for the day, or are you coming back? He's probably coming back. So, Rhonda, in California, first of all, I'd like to give you a compliment. You look so well rested and so young and so happy. A lot of people, when their husbands retire, it's the opposite for them.
Well, thank you, Stephen. Actually, it's a great question. One of the things that we do, not as often as I would like, but we do, my husband and I in the morning do this thing called Sway, and he has a playlist. So he'll pick out a song. This is the Monday song, the Tuesday song, and we dance for like 3 minutes to the song in the kitchen while the dog is kind of sitting there going, okay, when are you going to take me out? So that's really fun. We sway. The other thing that I do is I actually get the newspaper every day and I do the crossword. That's kind of my way of unwinding. And I've done that for years. So I do that. And the third thing that I really love since we've retired is we live 3 blocks from the beach. So I bought an electric bike. And as often as I can, my husband has a regular bike because I can't keep up with him. I mean, I'm actually a lot older than I look, Stephen. So I cheat and I use the electric part of the bike. And we ride to the beach and we'll watch the sunset, you know. And so those are the ways that I unwind. And I love having him retired.
And the ducks.
Sorry. The ducks. Oh my God, I love the ducks. Did you see the ducks on my Facebook? We have all these ducks.
I have a friend who's the duck lady.
Yeah, the only downside to the ducks is my dog goes crazy with the ducks.
And the duck poop. That's a
well, I don't care about that because that's why they have a big homeowner association that takes care of all of that. But my dog goes crazy because the ducks will come right up and he barks like a maniac with that, you know.
Another thing that you like to do that you probably have more time to do since you're not driving all over the place, you like to connect people.
Oh my God, I do. And so funny, somebody actually reached out to me with the same last name as me, another Sher, not Mark Sher, but another Sher. And I think what's today, only Tuesday? I sent out 6 emails with referrals, just connecting people to each other. That's like one of my very favorite things to do. And be on panels like this. I love this. This is so much fun.
That's something we can all do.
Unlike Jenny, I don't get to go out. Or I'm sorry, unlike Katie, I don't get to go out that very often because of COVID. So I'm not real. I mean, when we go to the grocery store, it's a big deal. It's like we got the double mask. It's like, oh, great, we get to go to Munoz. We're actually out, you know. And he got the vaccine, so I haven't gotten it yet. But
so I was wearing a hood, but being here in the South, it was not a good idea. I had to stop doing it. It was a very bad idea. So I got a compliment this week from Domenic, and I've repeated it like 3 times. It could have been that he was drinking, but he said, "Oh, Stephen, I didn't know that you were older than I am." I was like, you know, that's going to last for like 6 months. That's going to be great because Domenic is pretty young. I want you to know. So that was definitely a compliment that I thank you for, Domenic. And so let's go over to Dr. Holly. I haven't asked you the question. What are the day-to-day things that you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if no, why not?
I love this question. Yeah. So I went through the same adjustment period after the pandemic hit and we had our stay-at-home order, but I love my life. I love my life like it is now. I actually, when the weather's nice, right, get out almost every day. I have trails, running trails in my neighborhood, and also I live in Cary. We have tons of trails all over Cary.
Place, yeah.
Yeah, and I see people. I'm out there, right? Just, you know, we're moving past each other very quickly and with a wide berth, so it's great. When it's rainy like it is now, I do yoga in the house, or I have an exercycle that I can use. So I do those 2 things. But I love my work. I love the fact that I get to work with people virtually all the time. I had a 4-hour session this morning. I have a professional association tonight. I have you all in between. And so I feel like I get my social fix. Even though it's not in person, I get to talk to people all day long, which I absolutely adore. And then I have actually gotten in some of the best shape of my life because I like to cook also, and I like to cook incredibly healthy. And so I dropped 35 pounds in January and February, and yeah. And and I eat really well every day, and I enjoy cooking for myself. It's just me. I enjoy cooking, and just every day's a blast. I have a good time.
Let's make it sort of personal. I know that you were divorced sometime before COVID or shortly after COVID, correct?
Actually, no, I've been divorced for 10 years, but I did have a breakup.
A breakup. Okay. So not an actual divorce, but a big change Did it make a lot more time for you to do the things that you enjoy doing?
Tons more time. Yeah. So I'm one of those people, and some of the people on the panel can probably relate to this. I'm a giver, and I'm a giver to the nth degree. So when my kids were at home, when a significant other in the house, I'll always put everybody else before me. And so I end up wearing myself very thin. I see Jenny nodding because I know she's like that too. But yeah, so this has been an interesting time for me to be able to just have time for Holly and to be good to Holly, which we all kind of need to do from time to time. We just need to take a step back and say, okay, I need to be good to myself.
You should do that forever.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Unfortunately, there's givers are great. Unfortunately, frequently givers end up with people that are just takers.
I agree.
And that doesn't really work out well for even for the taker too, because it enables them to have a lot of bad behaviors.
Amen.
I feel very blessed that I'm a giver. My wife's a giver. It's like always asking each other all day long, what can I do for you? What can I do to make your day better?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, I see that, with some of the people here that I know their relationships, I know they're with givers too. I mean, Jenny's with a giver, and helps fulfill what she needs. I don't know about Jack. He's always smiling, so I'm guessing yes. Domenic, certainly. So I'm glad that you're doing things that make you feel really good. And that's what it's all about. Really, that's the success is what I'm trying to get at. That's why we started this week with this question, because really the success is when you take the time to do good things for yourself.
You're right.
Even during the hardest times.
And I've been watching the chat and watching all the people that have young kids, no kids yet, all the conversation. I'm an empty nester. I have 2 young adult children, and I'm super lucky because they've kept me, we've been each other's little COVID bubble. And I see both of them every single Sunday night for a long dinner. And then I see both of them at different times during the week. So it's really cool. They both live within 20 minutes of me, and we just make it a point.
That's true.
And I like them now that they're not under my roof all the time, Jenny.
They're big, the big difference when they're adults.
Mm-hmm.
We have one daughter on the cusp of being an adult, and we'll see how that works out.
Awesome.
If we let her live that long. Jennifer, I know you're really into your job and you're really into your work. Gene, have you met Jennifer? Yeah, Jennifer's got you guys should connect. Jennifer is in the Myrtle Beach area. I had a little mind burp there. And she does animation to improve podcasts and all those other things. Like really, really cool stuff. And you have 2 million subscribers. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll correct you on that. So I don't want to mislead anyone. So it's the way it works is our publication.
20 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carolina Bulletin has a post reach and impression rates. So basically, all of our social media sites combined has a reach and impression rate of over 2 million per month. So it's still a lot. It takes a lot to get to that point. So,
I mean, that is an awful lot. I mean, were you shy when you were in high school, or were you really like an extrovert?
Yeah, I'd say I was more of an introvert in high school.
So did you ever think like, wow, I'm going to have 2 million impressions of things that I talk about and am interested in for my clients? Could you even perceive?
I didn't even know social media wasn't even a thing back then, so I wasn't even aware of that kind of thing. Just to show you my age, I was born in between that area with just.
See, I always think of you being like in your early 20s. So.
Right, exactly. I mean, keep that illusion. That's great. Good for you.
It could be the animation. You have a very young penguin.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So
what are the day-to-day things you do that make you feel really good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if not, why not?
Well, right now I'm enjoying cooking, like a lot of you guys here too, and getting better at it and cooking only healthy things. And I don't miss not going to restaurants anymore. There's maybe a couple restaurants I would patronize, but right now I either don't want to take the risk and I also want to stay healthy too. There's not a lot of healthy places to eat in Myrtle Beach. For those who've been here before, that
But
it's
you
no
can get
big surprise.
sushi in any type of restaurant has sushi in Myrtle Beach. Like restaurants have sushi.
At your own risk. Yeah. Yeah, don't recommend it. There's a good place that there's one in Charleston and one here called Code Sushi. That's the one I've been to.
We went to that Boardwalk Billy's in Myrtle Beach, and it's like barbecue and sushi.
Oh, I haven't been to that one. I don't know if I want to.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I stayed simple on it. So yeah, cooking is a big deal. Like, does anyone see? I cook almost every night. I make posts on Facebook about it, and I have a following of women about my mother's age that think that I am phenomenal because they've never seen men cook before. Like their husband cooked, it's North Carolina, their husbands cook venison and they grill, but they don't go into the kitchen. So they think I'm like the most liberated, man ever. So that's my audience. And of course my mom. If any of you need likes or engagements on your Facebook page, friend my mother. She will instantly love anything you post, whether she understands it or not, within 2 to 3 seconds.
Stephen, my mom does the same thing. And she goes, I don't know if it's helping, but I just feel like, who knows who's going to see it?
It does, because my mother has an echo chamber. She's friends with all the women she went to high school with and college with, and she had them all friend me. All the Yentas from South Florida. And they love everything I post too. They just think it's fantastic. So it definitely is, a great audience because they are loyal to you. They're gonna comment on everything. So it's definitely a demographic, if you want to improve your engagement, that you should attract. And one of the ways you can do that is by showing off your cooking.
Stephen, we can start a new business of renting out our Jewish mothers.
Gosh, that's an excellent idea. If we just started a page like that, Jewish mothers and yentas, Sarah's called Rent a Yenta, and you would join the page and they would immediately friend you in like everything you do.
That domain has to have already been taken.
Well,
there has to be that business already.
I'm going to find out right now.
If not, Jenny just bought it.
Yeah.
Because she types much more quickly than Sarah.
She used honey to get it on a discount.
So, Domenic, did I ask you this question? What are the day-to-day things you do?
You did. You asked me first. Yeah, you got to me right away.
Definitely not as young as you think. Forgetting. I'm going to come to Rena in a moment. I want to make sure I get everyone before they leave, the first portion of the show. Diego. Okay. I know some of the things you do. Soccer coach. He's one of these people that actually spends time with his kids. What are the day-to-day things you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if no, why not?
As I've gotten a little bit older and recognize my priorities, there's definitely one thing that I do and have done, no pun intended, religiously, and that is finding quiet time. Sitting down with my Bible and I do it every morning. I pray for a while, and it just makes a difference for me. So that without question is critical for me to have just being the right mindset every day. The other thing is, and you mentioned it, soccer. I love being out on the fields, coaching, being with kids. They just bring a lot of energy out, and typically that ends my day, which means I get a great night's sleep because I'm exhausted. But yeah, those are the two things that start my day and end my day.
So when you were younger, did you read the Bible, or is that something you took up as an adult?
I always grew up in a house with faithful parents, but I didn't know what I was reading. I was probably more I definitely was more rebellious. But there's a lot more context to it for me now, and so it is a big part of who I am.
And is this something you're modeling for your children?
Absolutely. My kids are far more mature now than I was at their age, and I'm grateful for it. They actually keep me in line, which I'm grateful for.
Yeah. Okay. That's some good stuff there. Jack, what are the day-to-day things that you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? If no, why not? I mean, I know Jack likes to meet people face to face, and he can't do it as much as he can. So what are you doing to substitute for that?
Just more time with my kids, I would say, was the first thing that came to mind, because when I'm working, my wife was always home with them, and I'd kind of catch up on what was ever going on at a dinner time conversation. But now that I'm home, it's easier, even though they're going to virtual school and all that kind of good stuff. But it's easy just kind of be around, hear what's going on, and being able to ask them kind of what's happening in their lives. And both of my kids are seniors in high school. And so, that whole, how our class is going, and then what are we doing to figure out what we're going to do next in our life, and what college and that kind of thing. So just being able to be more involved, be more around to partake, even though they're kind of not used to it. I still get some odd looks from them if I ask a dumb dad question. But, that kind of comes with the course.
So does that put them more on notice? Because before, your wife used to say, wait till dad comes home.
No, she's more the bad cop. I was always more the good cop. So she doesn't mess around. So as I said, I know it's probably not the norm, but that's her personality, and I don't have to worry about when dad comes home. Mom takes care of it.
Great. Sarah, are you the heavy or am I the heavy with the kids? I don't know. Pretty equal.
Depends on what we're mad about.
Depends what we're mad about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I would agree with that. I still don't. What? Can you elaborate more on that?
I mean, it depends on whose kid's acting out.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. Okay, Ray, out in California, what are the day-to-day things that you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? If no, why not?
So that's actually, it turns out that it's like a coincidence that you asked that question. So before COVID, I used to go to music in the park. It was every Thursday night. You bring a bottle of wine and some, food, and it's free. You enjoy the music, and there's, a couple hundred people there, not too many, maybe 150, but whatever, a lot of people. And I always enjoyed that. When COVID hit, I couldn't do that anymore. So I was, kind of growing up. I was not exactly, but I was kind of like an only child. So having to stay in the house wasn't such a big deal. It kind of, because I couldn't go listen to music, but, I was doing things inside, reading, which I still do. I enjoy, exercising inside, because, the gyms here are essentially closed. They have big tents with all the equipment underneath it. You can go there. And I was uncomfortable being in the gym, let alone in public. So, but going back to the music, on Sunday, this past Sunday, I was cooking. I'm not a big fan of cooking. I don't love it, don't hate it. It's something I have to do to eat. But I had my daughter over and my girlfriend, and afterwards I had some music on, and I just forgot how much I enjoyed just listening to music. So I don't listen to it enough. I'm usually working or listening to a podcast or something like that. It's something I started. I don't know if it was when COVID started, but I listened to less music today than I used to. So
that's sort of interesting, because what's really fun. Have you ever been on Facebook Marketplace?
No.
Facebook Marketplace, people sell everything on Facebook Marketplace, right, Jenny? Everything on Facebook. Stereo equipment. You can buy like some old style 70s vintage stereo equipment, not like, home theater stuff, like 2-channel, big giant speakers with, a turntable and I mean, people even sell those, nobody probably had any of them because they were too expensive for us, but those CD players with 300 CDs in them.
Oh, yeah.
CDs in them, and they'll sell them with all the CDs in them for like $25.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can basically just, buy an instant collection of music. I recommend it.
Music right there.
Music, I've been trading up speakers and doing different things. It's a lot of fun, and it's a very inexpensive hobby when you use Facebook. It's a great thing. Rena, welcome back. Rena's in.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's great to be back. I've missed you guys for a couple of weeks.
Well, I'm glad you're back, and I imagine
Me too.
Fun, exciting stuff, right?
I have been doing fun, exciting stuff. I had my first face-to-face training this week, which was really exciting. We were all masked and distanced, but it was in the same room, and that was great.
Terrific. And what's the weather like out in Oklahoma? Is it cold there like it is the rest of the United States?
It's sunny today and in the mid-50s. So it's definitely walkable weather.
Nice.
When it's like this, I get out every day and walk.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys hear the puppy crying? Do you hear the puppy crying out there? No. We'll bring out the puppy in a little bit. The puppy now weighs 35 pounds. He's getting pretty big, 6 months old. So, Rena, what are the day-to-day things you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if no, why not?
Well, as I said, I love to walk. And so that's the first thing I do in the morning once I kind of have my first cup of coffee and get out of bed is to go for a walk. And if I can't walk, I dance. I just do jazzercise, move, and I put on a timer and some music. I'm jazz hands, right? And so I dance, making up my own choreography. It's pretty goofy looking, but I don't care. And I love to do yoga. I love to lift weights, and I just do light weight lifting to keep muscle tone. And I meditate. And lately, I've started singing again, which is the thing that I'm most excited about. I was a singer, actor, dancer when I was young, and then it became something that I used to do, and I quit doing it. And since COVID, I've rediscovered how important it is to sing. And I just sing for fun, and it releases endorphins and all the feel-good chemicals. And so after about 30 minutes of singing, boy, I am just bright-eyed and chipper.
In COVID, do you miss live music, live theater?
I obviously miss live theater a lot, and I miss doing it and I miss attending it. I have been watching some live stream videos of theater companies that are doing things, and I directed a play in October and November, and we did it distanced. We had to keep all the actors 10 feet apart. We wore masks, but we did a play, and that felt great. But certainly COVID has really put the hurts on the entertainment industry.
So for Sarah and I, that's on our bucket list, to have our own black box theater.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we are definitely going to do eventually, not during COVID, but something that we will be doing.
What do you
just go out and do it? So
what do you do with it? Do you just have it? Do you produce plays? Do you direct? Do you act?
Open to the public. Produce plays. Open mics. Poetry readings. Sarah's telling me everything she's going to do with it. People come lecture. As well, and monologues would be great. Just a very simple black box. Theater. And believe me, I think after COVID, people are going to be looking for that stuff.
Absolutely, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think it can be done anywhere. Here in North Carolina, we have so many little small villages that have these vibrant downtown that, they really came back, pre-COVID. I hope they'll be doing just as well, once everybody gets their vaccines and they can go out. But so many of them would benefit from having their own live theater for the people in the town where they can participate. It doesn't have to be great or overly professional. Just having a venue.
A venue for expression, to invite expression in any form.
Art shows, you name it. That would be a lot of fun for us. And it's definitely something that we will be doing before we leave this earth.
Well, that's an exciting idea.
Well, thank you. We've been talking about it for years, and we still have a couple other things to finish with Rockstar Connect, and then we'll move on to the next part of our life. So, Gene, you were the first person to answer the question. Would you like to reflect on that question now that you've had a little more time?
No, I think I was. One other thing maybe I'd like to add to it is thinking about and setting time for really us to go out and spend some downtime with each other. So my wife and I kind of enjoy. I have this thing where if I can focus on something to look forward to each week. Like this week for me, it's the Super Bowl. I'm excited for Sunday. So like, we get together. I mean, it'll be smaller than every other year. I'll do a little gambling, a little eating, a little drinking. So I look forward to that. And I feel like, Greg McDaniel, where did you come from? And I feel like he just snuck in there. It's all 6'5" of them. How'd you do that? That's pretty good. I feel like if I have something like at the end of each week to look forward to, whether it's dinner with friends or dinner with the family, whatever, it helps the week go by better. You run into those little valleys where you're like, this sucks. What am I doing? I don't feel good. I don't feel like doing this. And I'm able to actually get myself out of that mental hurdle by looking forward to that stuff.
Can I make a little recommendation? Something Sarah and I have been doing.
Of course.
Previously, we would probably do one thing on the weekend. One night of the weekend we'd go out, and our excuse was, oh, we're so tired from the week. Friday we're going to go to bed early. And, it's just like, we do something Friday night and Saturday night, and if possible, Sunday night as well. Extend the fun for the weekend. And it ends up being a much happier and more rewarding weekend.
Here.
Yeah. And it's just, I buy champagne every week now and make sure that we have at least one of those bottles on the weekend. And it happens, we're not the best professional drinkers ever, but we can always make it. We always seem to kill off a bottle of champagne.
So can I ask you a question to that point? Because I want to see if you agree with me here, and you might not, because you might not eat this, but everybody looks at me like I have two heads when I say this. You eat sushi?
It's my favorite thing in the world.
Do you drink champagne with your sushi?
I drink champagne with any type of food. It goes with everything.
It really does. And I'll tell you that I learned this in Hawaii from one of the sushi chefs. And whenever possible, I drink not the brute, like a little bit more sweeter. And yes, Jessica, I love sake. I actually know a little bit about sake. But champagne and sushi for me is like match made in heaven.
Well, if I could give a plug, my brother, who is a master chef, he wrote one cookbook on knife skills, pretty famous one. You can look it up, Jeffrey Elliot, Henkel Knife Skills. It's the complete book to knife skills. But he also wrote the most complete book on sushi with the executive sushi and sashimi with the executive chef of Morimoto's, the Iron Chef.
Yep.
I mean, he's actually designed knives with the Iron Chef as well. So check out his books. He would love to sell a few more, but if you really want to be able to make sushi at home, there's so many illustrations. I think that's what's most important. You don't want sushi, do you, Jenny?
No, you can see her face. Did you see her face? She's like, no.
No sushi. Like, Greg's out in California, they eat a lot of the sushi out there.
Yes, we do.
Sushi is definitely one of my happy foods. If money were no object, I would have my own sushi chef making me sushi several meals a day. With fish flown from Hawaii and Alaska and
yeah, I'm with you on that.
All of that good stuff. That would be great. My brother lives not too far from you, Haverford. That's close to you, right, Gene?
Oh, I think you're talking to Greg. That's right down the street from me. Yep.
Yeah, you should connect with him. He'll make you a great meal.
So wait, where's he at?
He's in Haverford, right across. What's the name of the campus? Like near Bryn Mawr.
Yeah. Does he work in a restaurant or?
No, currently he's not working in a restaurant, but I don't think he ever worked in a restaurant in Pennsylvania. but he was the director of culinary relations and the executive chef for Henkel Knives International.
Sure.
Staub Cookware, and that's where he got the opportunity to write those cookbooks as well.
So then I should probably, when I call him, I shouldn't tell him I have Wusthoffs.
I mean, he loves all knives, but of course he's a bigger fan of Henkel. They're not giving him a paycheck anymore, so he probably doesn't like them nearly as much as they used to.
That makes sense.
I'm the benefactor of getting some really, really high quality cookware at less than full price or free. So
that's awesome.
That's great. But I always end up using the same 1 or 2 or 3 knives, regardless, that I love. Yeah, look him up, Jeffrey Elliot, guys. Look up his book. Books are available on Amazon. Multiple printings, all 5-star reviews, and lots of pictures for those of you that want to learn the technique. They're technique books.
Awesome.
In addition to recipes. So we've been having a great question today, Greg. I think you're really going to like it. Before I jump into it, what's been new with you? We haven't seen you for a few months.
Well, it hasn't been that long.
A couple weeks.
Life is changing, my friend, in all kinds of good ways. Extraordinarily, I got food poisoning 2 days ago, and so I've been recovering from that, which has been horrible. My girlfriend and I got it at the exact same time, so imagine that fun time. But it kind of got me thinking about a little bit in regards to marketing, life, real estate, just business in general. And you just give me some time to reflect as I'm laying in bed dying, just going like, oh my God, life sucks. But yeah, life is beautiful here. We're gonna get some rain later today here in California. But I don't know what the question is, so I'm just I'm just seeming like I'm talking, and I apologize.
Well, no, that's great. I mean, during COVID, I've been participating in a lot more of the real estate forums than I usually do. I've been going into them and reading what other agents are, what their experiences are. And what I'm finding is a lot of my colleagues are really whining, sniveling little bitches.
Oh my God, you speak like me.
They're just like completely over concerned with how other people do their business and not concerned with their own business, and just sort of bossing people around and telling them what they should do, which is interesting now, since you can turn people in to the NAR for their speech, and now people are doing that. They're doing screenshots of real estate agents, what they're saying, and then submitting it to the national organization. But guys, that are on those forums, you're there to help one another, not to mock each other, not to denigrate the way other people do business, because there's a million ways to do business. And some people, call expireds, and other people do networking events, and some people, just have a lot of friends and treat them nicely.
Yeah. There are a lot of sniveling little bitches out there, but that, as long as we know that, and Gene is smiling like he's grinning over there and laughing. But there's also an opportunity to go out there. And I've been really kind of jumping into Clubhouse a lot lately. Like my girlfriend, I get her up and moving in the mornings. We're up at it's either 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning, depending on the day and where she's going. So I'm up really early, and I'm in these rooms, and I'm going to the grocery store, or I'm doing anything else. I'm seeing a lot of value add there, just to kind of get visibility for your local marketplace. These platforms have exploded my Instagram and my DMs and my Facebook friend requests and everything else, and it is a fascinating opportunity, very much like what we're doing with Rockstar Connect. It's another opportunity to just connect with local businesses. It's an opportunity to connect with local realtors or local business people. And it is insane on how I've been using this, and how people I'll just be sitting there like 5:30 in the morning, like half awake, like half a cup of coffee down my throat, going like, oh my God, why am I up so early? And I then will be brought up, and I'll speak about something, and then people hit my Instagram and everything else, and I'll really start seeing an explosion there. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting, and I'll be fascinated. I would love to hear what everybody else has to say in regards to where this could go, because there could be a lot of plays, because you could bring a lot of the folks that you meet on Clubhouse, bring them over to your network, then you bring them from your network into your Rockstar Connect, and then you build that relationship there. There's a real value add play there. Guys, give me your thoughts.
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't jumped into it yet because I'm so involved with Facebook all day, all night. I got to make some time to get there. But Jenny, you've been playing with it a little bit, right?
Absolutely, yes, to everything that Greg said. It's super duper cool. Like, I got in a room with the guy that founded Podit, and we use Podit for our podcast to screen guests requests and put ourselves out there to like sorry. We just moved into a new office and there is some background noise today. The access that you can have to some of these people is like, and you can do it sitting, with your 30-minute skin mask on because nobody sees your face. And there's the quality of the conversation also, I think, is, I don't want to say better because that's not the word I'm looking for, but it's much more intentional and it's much more targeted. And people are having the conversation, they're in the room, they're talking about whatever the topic is, and then it's like, okay, I'm done, let's move on. It's made for short form content. So, it could be 15, 30 minutes or less, and you're just talking to whomever. You can bring people up. There's a lot of versatility, and it's all audio. Mm-hmm. And it's in the moment. I think the big selling point for Clubhouse is the exclusivity and the way that it's not recorded. So you're not going to be able to go catch it later. You're going to have to be on live. And Clint, I have invites. I can send you one.
Yeah, I think Sarah and I, we're going to need someone to walk us through it. So many different things are pitched to us on a daily basis. It's almost hard for us to know where to start. So we're going to depend on you a little bit for that.
Sure.
What's also just jumping in with Clubhouse and the invites is kind of like Gmail. When it first came out, you had to get an invite to be on Gmail, right? It's the same exact concept. And like what Jenny was saying is that the conversations that you have with the folks when you're in Clubhouse and the people that you meet, there's a lot of folks that you'd never, ever have access to, and you have access to them. You can jump in, you can raise your hand, you can say hello, you can give your piece. The whole thing about it is get in there, like what we're doing right now, right? You get in, you say your piece, then you shut up and you go, you mic drop and you walk away. But it's a free for all of who's going to join it. It comes down to your headlines, your content. You bring up your moderators. They then invite their people in. Then they get into your Instagram following, which then you can bring them into your database, which then you can bring them into your Rockstar Connect events and everything else. It's just it's a top of funnel opportunity, and there's a lot of conversations that don't have a lot of value. But it's interesting to see where the conversations are coming from, so you know how to market to the folks that are going to be your primary clients. So what are they looking to talk about? Great, you're looking to talk about, sweet and salty, cheesy crunch chips. Okay, great. Let's talk about that. Now I can market to you on that. And you don't have to do market research. You don't have to pay a firm for that. They're literally giving you the information for free. And then you can take Gene and take his company and then have him chop up your content, push it out, and talk about the stuff that they want to hear about.
Don't you think that this is perfect for Steven and Sarah? Like, the king and queen of networking, perfect. They could create their own Rockstar networking panel. And invite people in to talk. You would have, Steven, your Instagram and your inbox would blow up within a week. Blow up. I mean, it would be, honestly, like, I have all these invites right here, guys, from people that I've been in rooms with. As soon as they see your stuff, they reach out to you if they like your content. Steven, I feel bad for your inbox. You're going to need to hire 2 assistants because it's going to be ridiculous.
I need to be walked through this because I've been intimidated almost every day, thinking about going on it and then going, where is this going to go? What is it going to lead to?
I'll tell you the best piece of advice I could give you right now is find a topic that you want to talk about, and then invite a friend to join you. So it would be like me and you. We're opening the doors to this networking stuff. Let's talk about Rockstar. Let's talk about the 5 top tips of making a great connection. Those things, and people will start to come in. You let them on stage and ask their questions, and before you know it, you'll have 100 followers.
Steven, I just sent you an invite.
All right. Well, thank you. We're going to give it a try, and then maybe I'll invite our panelists that are all expert networkers on it as well.
Well, you have to. So the way, all right. So Clubhouse is very, very smart. A, it's only on iPhone right now.
Mhm.
B, you only get one invite until you start using the app, and then you get more invites. So you can't just. It's not a free for all.
How do you get the invites? You have to do something.
You have to know someone.
Yeah. and be active on the site, and be in the different rooms, contributing, everything else. It's kind of like earning like a social media or social credits essentially on their site. Like I think Stephen, I just spent my last one on you to bring you in, and I invited Gene. I'm not sure Gene has actually accepted mine yet, but it is a massively.
Invite me into where?
To Clubhouse.
What do you mean? I've been on with you 20 times. I got it from Zach.
Oh, shush. The point is the fact that like it is new. It's a little bit scary, but it is a digital version of what you guys have on a very large scale across the globe. It's been incredibly interesting to see how I've gone from like 200 followers, and I'm not the biggest one on there by any stretch of the imagination, but I just hit, I was at 1,100 followers this morning. I'm at 1,200 followers now. It's very interesting, and I think it's a fascinating way to grow. And Stephen, use Zero Crush.
The first time, like, should you be sitting at a table?
Nope, it's all audio. There's no lighting, no anything else. It's just create a sexy topic. Then just what you do is you hit the little plus button, badge at the bottom right, and you add in people that are following you, and then their people then will add them, and then it just cascades down, and all of a sudden you got a large bunch of people that are viewing. Then you join other groups and bring in their information for the people that you follow, and they'll bring you on stage and make you a moderator, which then you can add your folks. It's really interesting to see kind of how this really grows organically fast based upon the content that you put out there, and people give you shout outs.
And Greg, wouldn't you say too, think about it like you turn on the radio and there's a whole bunch of these live radio shows that you can go, the place where you look at the sessions is called the hallway. It's kind of like a convention, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can pop in and out of all the live radio shows and listen or talk, jump on stage. Like it's between like a live radio show and a podcast, except it's not recorded. So once, people suffer from FOMO, right? Like if
Big
you're not
FOMO.
there, you can't go back and re-listen to it. You miss it if it's live. So like there's that whole exclusivity thing they're building because it's only on iPhones and iPads. You have to have an invite, so everybody needs to be there, and then there's no going back. So once it's said, it's said.
Well, there's a room right now that has 700 people, another one with 866, another one with 48, another one with 37, another one with 20, 16, 15, 14, another one here with 1,200 people in it. There's a whole strategy in regards to getting in front of these folks, but you can build a huge, and who knows? Do you guys remember Blab? Stephen, do you remember Blab?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
This is like audio Blab. It's when you can jump in, give your point of view, say hello, and really kind of bring value. Start your own rooms, grow your own brand, and it doesn't cost you a damn dime. It's 100% free. And do we know if it's going to stay here forever? Absolutely no clue. But I can tell you one thing. Once you build your visibility, bring people over to your Instagram and your Twitter and get people to kind of get in your ecosystem. Now you have something that you can really leverage off of. And I think it's something that people absolutely have to be a part of. And just be real with you. It is so freaking addicting and irritating at the exact same time that you won't be able to stay off it, but you want to be on it at the exact same time.
Like most things in life and social media.
True that.
You can't get away from it. So I have the question of the week for you. What are the day-to-day things you do that really make you feel good? Do you find yourself doing them as often as you'd like to? And if no, why not?
Do you really want me to answer that question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh boy.
Day-to-day things make me feel good. I love myself a good cocktail. So yes, I do that daily because you know what? We're in real estate and that's just how shit rolls. Mm-hmm. I love to go for a run and get my blood pumping, and I love to listen to my conspiracy podcasts and kind of get into that weird realm and kind of just get out of the daily news stuff. But then I also love to reconnect with past clients and current clients and leads, and I like to test myself. How intelligent am I? Now, am I the smartest guy in the room? Absolutely, hard stop not. Steven is absolutely breaks me down in a minute. But I enjoy testing my levels of knowledge and being able to see if I can work the riddle of the real estate deal that I'm in right now. And then if I can't, go to someone who I can. And it's a daily struggle of like, okay, can I do it? Can I not do it? Can I not do it? Can I do it? But yeah, those are some of the things that I like to do.
You're the great type of real estate agent. I mean, that's what I love in my firm. We have an internal mastermind page, and then you realize, hey, this person's a good person to talk to. Even if they may be a newbie and they're bringing something entirely because of that, they're looking at things differently, and you get on the phone with them. They're so grateful. They say, "Oh, you're an experienced agent. Thank you for your time." I said, I'll learn more teaching than I will from than actually they will learn from me. I believe.
Yeah, it's something funny.
Helping them write an offer, or how to have an open house, how to create a Facebook page, etc.
My 10-year-old nephew, Riley, on Thanksgiving, we were doing some photo shoot, and I have an iPhone, I think it's an iPhone 11, this little thing. And yes, there are corgis on the back. My girlfriend's obsessed with them. But he showed me a part of this, the camera, where you can completely blank out your background, so then I can take this and give this to Gene over at GVA Media, and he can then take this and put in kind of background behind it. I'm like, how are you 10 and you know this? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm 42 years old and I didn't even understand this. But yeah, learning from everybody around you at any point is 100% powerful.
So our older daughter, she can go on her cell phone with her thumb, make incredible 3D art. Just like incredible stuff. And I said, well, you have a graphic design job whenever you want with us, because we can't do it. That's for sure. Hey guys, we're near the end of the program. I wanted to give if anybody wanted the opportunity to share anything that's coming up, a podcast or a course, or if you're offering something in your business, you're welcome to. Jenny, do you have anything you'd like to bring up?
I do. I'm super excited. Today we released season 2, episode 1 of the Girls Who Do Stuff podcast. Here, I'll change my my background as a homage. It's a really exciting episode, and from a guest who grew up in Liberia and emigrated after the Civil War, and we talked about comparing to the pandemic and toilet paper shortages, and it was fascinating. And so that is happening. And also, as I said, we moved into our new office space, which is also coming along with it is a photo video studio. So super excited that I will I'll post if we're going to do a video tour once everything is up, in addition to the podcast studio, which we have here. So lots of exciting things.
There's some good guests. If you had Greg and Gene on the same time, they'd immediately get you an NC-17 rating.
I don't know that we need Gene and Greg to get us an NC-17 rating. We can do that very well by ourselves. But
Dave does that, Jenny.
It would be, extra. But yeah, so we have the ability to do all kinds of fun streaming and hybrid things and live interactive stuff and all kinds of crazy. I'm super excited about it.
So, Domenic and Clint, you may want to share about your new podcast. I know, Gene, you've been helping Clint and Domenic with that.
Yeah, so we have a podcast. We just dropped our first, our intro show, which is about a 30-minute show, just a little bit about the show and about us. And that's, as I said, right now, Dominic's actually working on the Stitcher and the Spotify thing. And I think we have it on Apple coming up soon. And then we have another episode that we did on the Super Bowl with a lot of fun stuff. Just me, Dom, and our producer, kind of kicking it a little bit, talking about football and having a few drinks. It's a really good time. But next week it starts the interviews and the really, really, really exciting stuff.
Right, we're looking.
So it's the Joe Schmo Sports Show.
Great. And Rena, do you have a course or coming up? Can't hear you.
Yeah, I want to talk about two things. I too have a podcast called Let's Get Vocal with Rena, and I created it so that I could talk about voice and presentation, but the title is loose enough that people talk to me about anything that fires them up. Anything that we want to get vocal about is great fodder for my podcast. The other thing that I'd like to bring up today is Speak Like a Pro Academy, which is a course that I'm offering, a 10-week deep dive into all things voice, speech, and presentation. And I do it on a 10-week rotation. And within the next month, I'm going to start it again. Speak Like a Pro Academy.
I bet that's going to be great because you do have a fantastic voice, and I'm sure we can learn a lot from you.
Well, thank you.
And, maybe if you have that experience, if you go on Clubhouse, I'll try to go on it this week. I have an invite. If you can get on it, let us know what your experience is next week,
okay,
possibly. Hey, everyone, I want to thank you all for joining us today on 3 Martini Lunch. Hope to see you next week. And thank you for your fantastic answers to what makes you feel good on this particular question that we had this week, because I'd like to apply some of those things. So definitely going to start doing that cocktail day. 100%. I think that's going to be the easiest way to start, and then I'll do Clubhouse. The cocktail will help me do Clubhouse.
But Clubhouse is going to take some work, Stephen. I really think that I'm a little intimidated by it myself, to be honest with you.
Why don't you just come over to the house? We'll all do it together.
Oh yeah, that sounds like fun.
Well, we could, I mean, yeah, I was going to suggest that we can just do a room together and
we can do it from the comfort of our own homes. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah, and you can do a closed room too, where you only invite friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do that unless I'm totally walked through it, because I'm an alien on the planet technology. I don't do anything easily.
Rena, I'm going to tell you one thing that everybody, Clubhouse is a lot like Twitter. People are scared to death of Twitter because they over sensationalize how simple it is, right? Like it's just really easy. Once you dive in, you'll go, oh, there's not much to this. And then it's just a matter of getting up on stage and speaking. That's, on stage, right? Virtual
It'd
stage.
be nice if we come back like 2 months from now and we're like the experts on it.
Yes.
Well, Gene, Twitter, I think the bad thing with Twitter that people look at is how cumbersome it is, how quick it is.
Yep.
Because it's just so fast. And that intimidates a lot of people.
I agree with you, Clint, for sure.
Yeah. I've never used my Twitter account.
Obviously.
Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again next week at 3 Martini Lunch, brought to you by Rockstar
Thank you.
Connect. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Great to see you. Bye.